Hey, much love, stability, balance, fulfillment, sobriety, awareness, mindfulness, creativity, connectivity, inspiration, elation, joy, cultivation. It's okay. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's gonna be okay. There's no reason to doubt yourself. You're divine. You're infinite. Yesterday is a thing of the past. What you do moving forward all determines your mindset, your mentality, your attitude towards what God has given you to work with today. What do you have to work with that you're overlooking? It's vital that you start to be grateful and show thanks for the things that you do have, because that will indefinitely open up doorways, paths to bigger, brighter, more abundant gifts and divinity of benevolence. Every day you have to honor a different aspect of yourself and sharpen your skills, tune your awareness, become mindful of what needs to be changed, focus on what needs to be transformed, fortified with strength, resilience, balance, stability. Every day, if you decide to get better, you're paving a way for the future that you actually want, your nirvana, your heaven on earth every single day. If you choose to be in a frequency of gratitude, of love, acceptance is one of the biggest things I had to learn. Instead of getting mad or upset, instead of just trying to force something that God repeatedly tells me is not good for me, it was the most beneficial thing in the world for me to learn acceptance, not only of my circumstances, but of myself. Once I learned how to accept certain scenarios and, certain ways of life, certain individuals, certain aspects of myself, that's when I could really start to change within. Acceptance is necessary. We can't change everything, but we can change our mindset. We can change the way we look at things. And by doing that, you can basically control your whole reality, your whole destiny. You can redirect yourself towards bigger and better things. Once we learn how to accept certain things are not for us. And that was one of my biggest flaws for the longest time. Not being able to accept myself and who I was and what was happening around me. So there's always light. Not at the end of the tunnel, there's always light, period. And if you can find that light, because you're engulfed in it, you're surrounded by it 24/7. We're always surrounded by the light, even in our darkest of times. Even when it seems like there's no way, no nothing, there's nothing that's gonna save us. We are our own saviors. It may seem dark, we may seem like we have no help, but you are connected to every single hero in your lineage. every single benevolent, malevolent, and every single entity that has brought glory to your DNA. You are directly connected. You are glory. You are that glory. You are that benevolence. You are that balance. You are that light. So when you think you're alone, there's always spirit guides, ancestors, angelic protectors, the Most High. You're constantly being tested. You got to test yourself. Once you realize that you were always being tested, you start to test yourself. And you become more than you could ever perceive to be. You have to make that decision, though, that you want to be more. For the longest time, I used to weigh 315 pounds. I weigh 190 today. Eventually, I'll show pictures of before and after, but I used to literally think I would never have abs. I would never be a certain way. I'd never be able to wake up and actually love my life. Boy, was I wrong. It's like I've been regenerated to the frequency of a child. I wake up every day with excess energy. My mindset is so crazy because I'll throw out ideas and most people either can't perceive them or they want to be able to think at that high level of freedom, of sovereignty. Freedom is a state of mind. Sovereignty is a state of mind. They're both frequencies that have been calcified due to the lack of self-love, the lack of self-awareness. Throughout this journey, we put ourselves in situations that compromise who we are as individuals, that really cause us to question our motives and morals and values. And we really start to be conditioned to certain things, desensitized to certain things, when in reality, it's all about self. Once you learn to stabilize, balance, and activate your own sovereignty and freedom and will, that's when you can really try to help others. But until that happens, we're just really we're setting ourselves up to be controlled and manipulated. Even if the people we're around aren't intentionally controlling and manipulating us, if we don't know ourselves, we're just opening up our channels to be inhabited by other people who don't know themselves. So it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. In any given situation, I had to learn through trial and error, you are the source. You are the source. Everything moves through you. Or it stops with you. There are so many negative things about my lineage, so many negative things, that I had to sit down and I had to stop letting it flow through me. I had to decide, this is not what I am. This is not what I am. Just because my family was that, just because somebody in my family was that, just because I've seen somebody do that, just because I've surrounded myself with people who are that does not mean that that's what I am. And my biggest error was the lack of awareness, the lack of knowing that you can change. You have all the power in the world to change. It's an illusion. I was living in an illusion, thinking that I needed certain things, needed certain people, needed certain environments, thought patterns. I was living in an illusion, thinking that I needed that in order to be a functioning human in society, in order to be accepted, in order to be loved, supported. Before that, I was just roaming randomly. with no end result, no mission, no meaning, no. In my head, I just thought I just wanted money. I just wanted, to have a little bit of money and be able to get drugs and liquor and things to suppress my lack of knowing internally, my self-hate, my identity, the lack of identity that I had. Now I know it's much deeper than that. Now I know I put the purpose on my life. I don't let external substances and people and circumstances define me. Before, I was constantly being defined by other people, other circumstances, negative things. I had little to no positivity. I put up a front and I fought hard like hell to be positive. But at the end of the day, I was getting overtaken by the malevolent forces. There was an extreme lack of balance within my psyche. I became extremely codependent, self-deceptive. I was engaging in self-hatred rituals 24/7, smoking like a freight train, polluting my body, drinking ridiculous, eating ridiculous, overeating ridiculous. It started to leak out into my reality. I started to do wrong by people that I really loved. I started to do very, very negative things. And the thing about it is, most of us are unaware of our own self-sabotaging behavior. Most people are unaware, completely oblivious to it. So I would be blaming others, for me perceiving to have been done wrong. And then I realized later, after my awakening, I realized that exact thing. Most people don't know that they're sabotaging themselves 24/7. Most people don't know that they're hurting themselves when they're going to get drunk and chain smoking. And most people think those are actually beneficial things to them. Their brains have been wired to think smoking, polluting your body, turning your lungs tar black, drinking, deteriorating your liver, putting, acidic, toxic substances in your body, eating a certain way. Most people have been conditioned and trained to think this is okay. And they have negative thoughts almost 24/7, but they portray onto the reality someone who's fighting to be positive. You shouldn't have to fight to be positive. If one bad thing happens in your life and you're like, shit, I hate my life, this is everything, you keep going, but one little scenario shouldn't break you down like that. We're designed to be triumphant, victorious. Most humans I know with a healthy mindset, with a healthy sense of self, there's nothing that can stop them. And over a period of time, I think when we refuse to engage in self-love rituals, taking care of our bodies, working out, listening to positive messages, eating right, eating electric, high vibrational food, getting sunlight, getting moonlight, feeling the fresh air on our skin, connecting to source, connecting to the earth, praying positivity, speaking positivity. It's okay to do these things. When we engage in all of these aspects, we learn to cultivate self-awareness and self-love. It's okay to eat right. It is, I promise you, it's okay. We don't have to eat like garbage every day. We don't have to stay inside every day watching TV, negative concepts. We don't have to dread going outside and feeling the sunlight. It's the almighty source of energy. when we start to really get into these negative aspects of what being a human truly means, that's when we start to we start to cut off all connection to the divine. And after a while, you start to hate life. You start to question life. You start to ask, what is your purpose? Because you have failed to give your life purpose. Humans were born in nature. We were born from nature. And once we can disconnect from nature, that's when all sense of self is stripped from us. This is our almighty source of life. If you do not connect with life, you cannot feel alive. Once you begin to connect with malevolent, low vibrational sources, you start to feel like life is controlling you. You're not controlling it. So self-love is really the biggest topic. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to mess up, have a negative experience. I hear people say all the time, I'm a dumbass, I'm a dumb bitch. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I used to be that exact same way. One negative aspect happens, and after a while, you start to believe that with everything in your being. You start to believe that you are a dumb bitch. You are a dumb ass. You are a dumb no. You're the farthest thing from it. A champion's gonna, hit a wall. He's gonna come towards some adversity with enthusiasm because he knows that's a learning experience. And if he fails, it's gonna expose aspects that he needs to get better in. Once I literally started to take control over my life when I shifted my mindset into that type of perspective. Because before, I would lose so many times, and I would go in the hermit mode. I would be afraid to try again, traumatized. I would hate myself. I would get drunk. I would do drugs just because I lost, just because something bad happened to me, or what I perceived to be bad happened to me. Once you shift your mindset, you know that adversity is going to come, but at the same time, you know there's not a single thing in your fucking soul that can stop you from your end goal, your end results, what you're chasing, your final destination, what you love, your stability, your security, your confidence. Once you let that become wavered by anything external, that's when you lose sense of self. Nothing externally should ever wave your abundance, your confidence, your self-love. Because it's all cultivated from within. So how are you going to let something externally take it? It can't be done once you truly know who you are. Self-love, self-awareness, self-acceptance, cultivation, awareness, ambition, mindfulness, creativity, imagination. Your imagination is your biggest gift. Your biggest arsenal is your imagination. You can conjure up anything in here. So make sure that it's triumphant. Make sure that it's ferocious. Make sure that it's tenacious. Make sure that it's unstoppable, impenetrable. That's all I gotta say. I want everybody to know you are loved infinitely, unconditionally. You are supported infinitely, unconditionally. You are accepted infinitely, unconditionally. You have to look to the frequencies who are accepting you, loving you, and supporting you unconditionally and infinitely. Stop looking to the sources that only do it under conditions. And like I said, it all starts with you. Once you learn to accept your mistakes and allow them to become part of your journey and your healing and your growth, your maturation, your transformation, that's when you start really growing. That's when you start really maturing and transforming. But it doesn't happen until we learn to really be the pioneers, the leaders, the cultivators of our reality. What you eat does affect you. What you listen to does affect you. Who you surround yourself with does affect you. What you connect to does affect you. Show yourself a little love and awareness today and be tender with yourself. If you mess up, say, hey, you got this. It happens to everyone. Before the student becomes the teacher, he has to learn lessons. You have to learn lessons. The difference is, are you going to run away from those lessons, those adversities, or are you going to embrace them and allow them to change you for the better? Allow them to sculpt you, mold you into the divine, infinite being that you were born deserving of, that you were born deserving to be, that you were born to be. As children, we have infinite intelligence, connectivity to the Most High. As children, we know who we are. It's not until we face certain adversities and certain compromising situations, meet certain people, individuals, meet certain entities, that we start to question who we are. And we have to go through that journey back to finding our true infinite selves. Place the definition of who you are within. Don't place it externally. Place that importance within yourself. I know there's influences all around us at all times, but it takes a mighty spirit. It takes a strong spirit to decide that you're going to be the influencer, not the influenced. You're going to be the leader, not the follower. It takes a mighty spirit. It takes a mighty spirit to say, I'm not going to eat what they eat. I'm not going to drink what they drink. I'm not going to do what they do. Even if I know that it's going to get me outcasted or it's going to land me being alone. It takes a mighty spirit to know that you cultivate your reality and you won't be alone forever. A strong person is like a LED light, or it's like a light. It's like a light in the darkness. Moths are attracted to moths. People are attracted to strong, bright individuals. If you learn to stand on who you truly are, your morals, your standards, you stand on it firm, nobody can move you. I promise you, sooner or later, you're going to start to attract stronger individuals. You're going to start to attract mindful, aware individuals, people who want to help themselves, support themselves. And trust me, once you get somebody around you that supports themselves, they're going to support you 10 times more because they know how to support. They know how to support themselves. Once you get around somebody who loves themselves, you're going to experience a love you've never even in your life heard of because they know how to love. They love themselves. Of course, you're going to experience negative scenarios and situations if you surround yourself with people who really don't know the meaning of self-love, of self-care, working out, stimulating the mind, eating right, singing, dancing, laughing from the gut, genuinely, supporting genuinely, being truthful. Being truthful is so underrated. A lot of us take to being told the truth is something offensive, when in reality, when people tell you the truth, it's most of the time coming from a place of love. I was always that person who took someone telling me the truth as something offensive. I got mad. I got defensive. When in reality, someone was really just trying to show me myself, what I was doing that was holding me back. Always be receptive. There's a lot of divine wisdom and guidance that's given to us, but we're not in alignment, so we're not in a position to accept it, to receive it, to internalize it, and allow it to mold us and redirect us to a greater path. Be receptive, self-love, self-awareness, self-care, mindfulness. The power is yours. You are divinely intelligent and infinite. Much love. Sunseeded out.